I saw a comment earlier, I didn't want to answer it, but I want to answer it now. The comment said like, they need to nerf Fiora, Camille, Riven, and Irelia for tanks to be useful. Alright, you wanna know the reason, alright? So now we've established, alright? Just a little bit rant more, okay? Give me 1 minute, 1 minute of rant more, and then no more for the rest of the day, okay? Just 1 minute. I have established, looking at all the challenger accounts, nobody plays tanks. We have established that. We have established it's a heavy bruiser meta. Alright? It's been bruiser meta for not 1 month, for not 1 patch. It's been bruiser meta the whole season. The whole season. Alright? You don't just nerf on nerf Fiora, nerf Irelia, nerf Riven. The main problem why we went from a Maokai being a top lane champion to Maokai having 0% pick rate. The reason that happened is, drum roll please, is not because of champions. It's because we went from 5 items: Void Staff, Leandri, Black Cleaver, Blade of Rune King, Last Whisper. We went from 5 items that deals with tanks to, and now we have Divine, Lord. We have Last Whisper. We still have Last Whisper, but we have Lord Dominic's, which is Last Whisper on drugs. Is Last Whisper on drugs? It's like it gives the percent armor pen, but it also gives bonus damage to tanks. So like Last Whisper is like super buffed for some reason. We have Divine, Lord Dominic's, the Sureldra's Grudge, but you can count those two in one, like Last Whisper items. So we have that, and then we have Kraken. We have Leandri as well. Look, Leandri was the main reason for mages to deal with tanks. It still has the same effect. Dealing damage with abilities causes a burn, max health burn. But now this season, for some reason they added Agony. Deal up to 12% magic damage to champion based on the target's bonus health. For some reason, it's already a tank killer item. For some reason, they added this. So that's like Lord Dominic's as well. It's the Lord Dominic's logic as well. This is like a tank killer on drugs. It's OP versus tanks. So now we already have 5. We have as well Riftmaker. We have Sunfire. We have Void as well. Of course, Void as always. We have Demonic Embrace. Even though nobody builds that, that's still a tank killer item. Eclipse. We have Eclipse. And we have Black Cleaver like always. So now we're up to, I think we're up to 11. And Blade of Rune King. Forgot to count Blade of Rune King. We can also add all the healing, like from Gore Drinker, and all the shields from this, because healing is a big counter to tanks. Like, it's a natural counter. I'm not gonna count it here, but either way, long story short, we went from 5 tank killer items to 11 tank killer items. That is more than double the items to deal with tanks. And tanks, they honestly, they didn't get anything with the item change. The mythic item deals too much damage, it doesn't give any tankiness. And that is the big problem, really. That is the big problem. It's not the champions, it's not the bruiser champions, it's the bruiser items. It's not the fact that the bruiser items work really well on bruisers, it's that they work well against tanks. We went from 5 to 11, and 2 of those 11, Lord Dominic's and Leandri, are extra tank killers for some reason. Imagine! And that is why, what I established earlier, that is why nobody played tanks. That's the reason. They get Amphemas Chains to beat bruisers. Dude, Amphemas Chains is the biggest yoke of an item ever. So Amphemas is supposed to be the way to deal with bruisers, right? The reduced damage is fine, no? But like the tenacity is super dumb. The tenacity is really bad. When you basically give you give your opponent 20% reduced tenacity. That's what happens. Every bruiser in the game have access to this rune. Every bruiser in the game goes Conqueror, and they have access to this rune. This rune single-handedly gives 30%. So you can counter a full item and get extra tenacity just with this one rune. You get 30 from this, Anthem must only reduce 20. Long story short, items are OP versus tanks. That is the big picture. There are of course like I can go on for years talking about this, like special cases like Fiora and stuff like that. And new champions always having percent health damage for some reason. Like for some reason every new champion that is a top laner has percent health damage. So that is a natural counter to tanks. I think people should talk about it. I'm not the person to talk about it, cuz I never talk about meta stuff. This is out of my comfort zone. This is out of my comfort zone. I never complain about meta. Dude, other people are supposed to do this for me. Like where, like dude, I can't go on League of Legends Twitch. I can't find a stream on Twitch that is League of Legends that is not someone crying about their champion being weak. I can't find that. But they're all delusional. Every single one is delusional. And for some reason, no one is talking about the tanks, where it's an actual problem. Can people look at real problems, like nobody playing a tank? That's a real problem. I don't want to bring this up, but nobody else is bringing it up. It's a problem when tanks have a 5% pick rate in the top lane. That's a problem. That's a problem. It's a big problem. And I think, and the fact I'm the only one talking about it, that's crazy. People needs to, I don't, like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's the main problem in League right now. And I need people to start talking about it, because Riot probably doesn't even know that this is happening, because none of them are Challenger. And like, games under Challenger, there's no meta. So tanks are probably being played in lower elo. Just, does that make sense? Like I really hope we get a discussion over this. I don't wanna seem like I'm like crying, but I actually wanna discuss, because I feel like I actually brought up some good points and factual statements that I actually think we should discuss it. I should contact Riot or something, because it's actually crazy. Okay, let's talk about Fiora, guys. I really want to talk about Fiora. All right, Fiora is so crazy, man. Dude, you see me stream every day, right? You see me stream every day, right? And yeah, Fiora matchup. How many per day? How many Fiora matchups per day? 3, 4, 5 maybe? 3, 4 or 5 Fiora matchups every day, right? And they're blind picking her. And they're blind picking her, is they're not counter picking to my Sion. They're blind picking her. So half the time I play versus Fiora, it's not even a counter pick. It would make sense if it's a special counter pick. There's 15 one tricks in Challenger playing Fiora. This champion is, people are getting Challenger with Fiora. One tricks are getting Challenger with Fiora when nobody plays a tank. That's a problem. That's a problem. Fiora is created to be a tank, to beat tanks, right? She's created for that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that Fiora is meant to beat tanks. Imagine 15 one tricks in Challenger while tanks are not even being played. That's crazy. That's crazy. You got a problem there. Like imagine how OP that champion would be if people actually played the champion she was good against. Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench is a rare case. Tahm Kench is like the Gragas. Tahm Kench is a rare case of tank champion, because of his numbers are being OP. And you know the thing with when people discuss, when the few times you discuss these things with people, right? They always bring up the, but Baus Gnar used to be meta. Isn't Gnar a tank Baus? People used to pick Gnar Baus. Yeah. And then like of a Baus, Gragas was meta for like Gragas was meta for 1 month. Hear me out. They were only meta drum roll because they're natural counters to bruisers. The only reason Gragas became top lane meta is because he counters bruisers. Like the way his kit works and the way his body slam works, he counters most champions in the top lane. So that has nothing to do with tanks. That is just a champion countering the current meta. Now he's trash. Cause oh, can't have a tank meta. No, you cannot have a tank being meta. Gotta nerf him after 1 week. Gotta nerf him to the ground. Now nobody plays Gragas anymore. Nobody picks this champ anymore. He's dog shit. Nor, if you count I'm not gonna even count Gnar as a tank, cause you remember, Gnar, he bought Stridebreaker. Stridebreaker is a bruiser item. Most times Gnar, he didn't. Nah, you don't count Gnar as a tank. And then Tom Kench, well, he's just OP. Everybody knows this. It has nothing to do with the items he builds. It's only about Tom Kench being. He got reworked and Riot never knows how to balance the numbers, so he's OP now. What about Dr. Mundo? There's no challenger player playing Mundo. He's played a lot in the LEC, but that's pro play. You cannot look pro play and compare it with solo queue. That's unplayable. You never compare pro play and solo queue. Dog shit champ because he belongs to the tanks. Dude, you know what the problem? Okay, do you know what the problem is? The problem is that we don't have any tank players. Top lane tank players. Like, oh, I can name like 2 people. The Antonio and Vishishashi and the Antonio. They're the only 2 streamers I know that play tank top lane. So they know what it's like out there at war. They know what it's like in the dirt. But there's no tank one tricks. There's no tank one tricks that are streamers. So no one is talking about it. Shending Help. Yeah. Shending Help is the best. He's the best tank player out there at the moment. The only player in Challenger that is Challenger by only playing tanks. There's 52 Challengers, top lane mains. He's the only one. It's impressive. Well done to him. But he seems to have found a way around it. Buying Redemption. He probably just supports his team and lets his team carry. So he found a way to make tanks useful, I guess. And I'm telling you guys, I went through all of the Challenger accounts, and let me give you an example. This was 95% of every Challenger player. This was 95% of every Challenger top laner. You could swap up Nocturne for Set, and it's 90% of top laners. Not everybody played Yace, but this was basically it. Not a single person played the tank. The only guy who played the tank actually was this guy. This guy is a legit good player. Look, he doesn't have a disgusting champion pool. But like even him, this is best case scenario of an OPE. This is best case scenario. Top 5 are still 2 bruisers. Still 2 bruisers. Pathetic. Dude, why am I still on this? What am I doing? Guys, can we change subject, like, finally? I don't want to talk about this anymore. It just gets me angry. But long story short, tanks in general are trash.